Aloha, friends. I'm Marianne Jones of Higher Self Foundation. My website is www.higherselffoundation.com. Sorry about my phone moving. I'm doing this video from my phone, and my dog just jumped up next to me and bumped up against me. So I wanted to come today. If you go to my website, by the way, you'll see what I do. I do readings and teaching and public speaking. I'm writing my second book, You Can't Fix What Isn't Broken. I am a long time clinical practitioner specializing in addictions and trauma. And I've had a paradigm shift, which is what I'm writing about in my new book regarding addictions and trauma, and I see it all very differently. And today I wanted to talk to you about the gateway drug. You often hear people say, or I have often heard people say, that marijuana is the gateway drug to all the rest of them. I've never bought into that, but what I did buy into was sugar as the gateway drug. Most of us have started eating sugar at a very young age, kindergarten, graham cracker and orange juice. But for most of us, that wasn't the first time we had sugar. Sugar is put in all of our food now unnecessarily, I'm sure, with the goal of making us fat, lazy, addicted, numb, a consumer, a lot of other things. So there's a book even called Hidden Addiction that talked about sugar being the precursor to all other addictions. And when you think about it, tobacco is sugar cured, alcohol is liquid sugar. So it's not so far-fetched. But what I have seen in my clinical experience and in my lived experience, and you hear people say it at one level that I don't agree with, but trauma is the gateway drug. I don't agree that it's trauma. I think it is the way the trauma is handled and what kind of resources we have access to. Because two people can have the same exact traumatic experience and it will be resolved differently. Some will have no post-traumatic stress disorder from it. Some will have no long-lasting effects. Others will. And it's not necessarily the traumatic event, but how it is handled, what kind of resources you have to deal with it, and what is going on around you. Because when we are faced with a traumatic event, our autonomic nervous system shifts in to take care of us. And we go into denial. Oh, this is not happening. Denial is an automatic defense. It's not something we think, oh, I'm not going to look at this now. It is a defense that is built into us to protect us so we don't go into a heart attack or some kind of stroke when presented with shocking information and traumatic experiences. So on the world stage today, we are being presented with so much trauma and so many survivors of trauma and so much awful things going on. And people are asking, why don't people act, and why aren't people realizing this? And I get it, why don't people, if we're trying to get rid of the immigrants and illegal aliens, why are we building centers for them instead of just sending them where they belong? And I think it's important to realize that all of this information is being released methodically to continue to have control over us, because whoever has control of our nervous system has control. So what we need to begin to deal with denial, which that's the first symptom of addictions, right, is number one, this stuff is enough, I don't want to do it anymore. Because addictions are merely a solution. They're a way to survive, to numb out. It's something that is quick and handy for our nervous system. And if we've learned it, we know that it works for survival until the point that it doesn't. So what is necessary to begin to recover and come out of denial and deal with life on life's term is safety. And safety is a tricky one too, because we can think we're safe when we're not. And we are only allowed access by our autonomic nervous system to what is safe for us to know. So, for instance, I got out of treatment here 3.5 years ago. I wasn't safe in treatment, and I knew it. And then I moved to a sober living home where I wasn't safe either, and I knew it. And then from there, I moved into a rental in Hawaii Kai where I was safe for a while, and then I became unsafe. And so I moved to the next place. And each place I've moved, I've had 13 moves since I was in prison, but each place where I moved, I was safer. And then where I am now has been almost totally safe. Great security, cameras, 24-hour security. You can't get in the parking garage without a fob. Then you can't get in the building without another fob. Then you can't get into your own place without a key. And that level of safety that I've had since I moved here has allowed me to see that I've never been safe in my life. That where I'm living now is the first time in my life, almost 70 years old, that I've been safe. And in that safety, I've been able to look back and see with new eyes, with zero denial, what happened and the effects it had on me, and that my life was really one of survival until I moved here a year ago. So, again, I say that the way trauma is dealt with is the gateway drug to addictions. Now, not all people go into addictions because to become an addict, you have to do enough of the substance. And people choose other ways. They don't necessarily call it addictions, but some people use work. Some people go into high performance mode. People-pleasing or fawning, as that would be called in polyvagal theory. Some people go into caretaking, nursing, teaching, the work thing. And in another video, I'll talk about dealing with trauma in a capitalist society as well. How do you stay healthy in a society that demands performance? I'll cover that later, and all of the stuff I'm covering in depth in my book. I hope you guys have a great day. To contact me, go to my website, www.higher self foundation. If you're new, welcome, aloha, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for listening. Aloha.